Leicester City star Kelechi Iheanacho made English football history on Tuesday night after becoming the first player to have a goal awarded by a video assistant referee (VAR). Iheanacho's goal against Fleetwood Town in the FA Cup was originally ruled out for offside. But referee Jonathan Moss consulted with VAR and eventually overturned the decision. While the Foxes will be delighted to have been given a goal on the back of a review, video technology has split opinion after its use in Brighton vs Crystal Palace in the FA Cup and Chelsea vs Arsenal in the Carabao Cup. Following the landmark moment for VAR, Sportsmail reporters have their say on if and how the system is actually improving our game and what, if anything, needs to change. Jonathan Moss signals for a review from the VAR after Kelechi Iheanacho was ruled offside. Last week there were a few glitches, but tonight they got it absolutely spot on. The lines really helped. It makes offside a fact, not an opinion. It's absolutely unequivocal. We all know that is a correct decision now. It's very tight and yet it's made a massive difference. It's a goal. There's no goal-scoring celebration that's been affected because it would have been ruled out without VAR. 1 minute and 7 seconds is no delay to play at all really, because it takes you that long to celebrate a goal and come back into position. So tonight really is a ringing endorsement for VAR, and we just hope now it can continue in that. Speaking on BT Sport after Tuesday's FA Cup tie, what do you think of VAR so far? At the King Power it worked well. The incidents that seemed close were dealt with swiftly by John Moss, who made clear by placing his hand to his ear that there was dialogue from the video assistant referee watching on the screen in London. Then the big moment came with Kelechi Iheanacho's goal. The pause of 67 seconds didn't seem long. The crowd realized what was happening, so a build-up of noise began, and when Moss signaled, there was the cheer that customarily greets a goal. Yes, it was not spontaneous, but the main point is that the correct decision was reached. What can be done to improve it? It does seem wrong that supporters in the stadium, as well as managers, aren't given the privilege of seeing how the decision was reached. Rosler originally came in and questioned whether the VAR had guessed. Those of us in the press box and people watching at home were given a slow motion pause frame replay complete with color-coded lines as absolute proof. Admittedly, showing debatable calls on the big screens might cause fractious scenes in the stands, but on decisions of fact those at the ground should be kept in the loop. Rosler cautioned that in Germany VAR is perceived negatively, and it is not difficult to imagine an alternative version of events to prompt such a view. Consider had Iheanacho seen his shot saved, causing a delay, and Moss to blow his whistle with the flag raised, only for the Leicester striker to put in the rebound, with then no goal. Yet we cannot allow games to progress indefinitely. So there are issues still to be worked out as the tech introduction continues. We also need to guard against too many pauses as the on-field referee gets word from the VAR. But in Leicester, Moss got the balance right. Iheanacho was onside and goal was given, but it could have been so much more complicated. What do you think of VAR so far? It's working extremely well. It's already made contributions to making sure that we get fair results to games. Given that it's in a trial period, I think the referees have handled it very efficiently. Those who champion the continuation of a system where matches are decided by the human errors of officials are never going to be happy with it, but those who want to see injustice cut of the game a little more should be satisfied. What can be done to improve it? It's working well as it is. Maybe the decisions could be made more quickly, but the delays to the games have been insignificant, and the decision-making process will speed up the longer VAR is in place. What do you think of VAR so far? Good. It does help with the fairness of the game. Iheanacho's goal is an obvious example, so broadly speaking it's a good thing, like goal line technology. Rule makers must keep in mind football is a contact sport with plenty of subjective laws. Is a handball intentional or not? The aim must be to rid matches of clear injustices, not go on a fool's errand of trying to every decision correct. So far, so good. What can be done to improve it? I'm actually anti-improvement, if that makes sense. Improvements usually mean more delays on the pitch. 3 reviews per team. Audience participation in decisions that just serves to turn football into cricket, tennis, or the NFL. As long as clear big decisions are corrected with a simple whisper into the ref's ear, that'll do. What do you think of VAR so far? It hasn't all gone smoothly, but overall it's done its job, as shown by Kelechi Iheanacho's goal. Referees chief Mike Riley will be patting himself on the back this morning, though I think VAR is far from the finished product. What can be done to improve it? Indications on the big screen that tell journalists and supporters alike when a decision is being reviewed by the video referee. That should not be too difficult. Referees have to stop play immediately if they want an incident reviewed too. Don't continue, because then anything can happen while you wait to go back to the original contentious incident. The VAR system caused confusion during the Carabao Cup tie between Chelsea and Arsenal. What do you think of VAR so far? It's not perfect. The major issue was the delay in deciding on the potential Fabregas-Welbeck penalty decision at the end of the Chelsea-Arsenal League Cup semi. Those in the ground had no idea what was going on. Those watching on TV were only slightly better informed. What can be done to improve it? More communication, please. The stadium PA and TV producer needs to be able to hear the ref feed, so they can inform the crowd and TV audience exactly what is happening, or just copy rugby and mic up the refs. But the principle is good, as last night demonstrated. What do you think of VAR so far? It's been free of mistakes so far, and that can only be a good thing. Feels like there could be a greater deal of anticipation built into it, certainly like in tennis and to a lesser degree cricket. But VAR's had a decent first fortnight. I saw the Kelechi Iheanacho goal on the TV, and that seems to be the best medium to interact with VAR at the moment, which probably needs to be fixed. What can be done to improve it? Big screens inside stadiums. The crowd not being able to see the decision being made is all kinds of wrong. Referee Martin Atkinson used the system to review decision unbeknown to the spectators. What do you think of VAR so far? It's been a long time coming. I agree that referees should be allowed to control the game, and that mistakes every now and then are something we can live with. But when it comes to the big calls, there is no reason not to use technology to make sure we get it right. What can be done to improve it? It's all a bit discreet at the moment, and you could see that as a benefit, as it maintains the flow of the game. I do think the crowd tend to be left in the dark as a consequence, and communication levels could improve even if it's just a little TV screen popping up on the scoreboard when VAR is in use. What do you think of VAR so far? I don't like it at all. I was in the crowd for the Chelsea vs Arsenal League Cup semi-final, and the confusion was ridiculous. Martin Atkinson handled it very badly. Chelsea were awarded a corner late on. The game was stopped for 2 minutes to decide on a pretty nothing incident in the penalty area. No one had a clue what was going on, whether the technology was being used or why. There was a similar incident in the first half. Tennis and cricket are sports full of natural stops. Football lives on the natural flow of the game, the excitement when your team is attacking. What can be done to improve it? If it's here to stay, the crowd has to know what's going on. Not all grounds have big screens visible to everyone, but putting it on those that do would be a start. Fans, such as those at Stamford Bridge, would benefit from seeing replays of the incident.